What's up YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Jonathan.
My name is Daisy.
Today's video, we're taking advantage of Sacramento's Free Museum Day. We're here at Sutter Sport. We're gonna do a little quick video of the area. We've never been here before, so if you're from the Sacramento area and you want to check it out,
It's basically downtown.
they gave us this map here. We're basically gonna go to jail first. Low door. Here we have a room with all the cannons. My guess is that they would fire out.
The ways that it's different from how it was when Sutter actually built it was that it's a lot more regular looking. It never would have looked like such a neat series of structures. This was a concept of architects and builders in the 1890s of what an 1840s building might have looked like. After the 1840s, Sutter's Fort deteriorated really quickly. It's an adobe building, and adobe needs constant maintenance to remain in place. Most of the fort sort of melted away, or the walls were torn down until only the central building was left. The central building is more or less the original building that was constructed during the 1840s. Everything else was reconstructed in the 1890s under the leadership of Republican Native Senator Gordon West. Their feeling about what they were doing with California history was that they were preserving California history, and I believe the exact phrase was, God gave it to the white man.
According to the video we watched in there, this building here is the original building made out of adobe. Everything else around here has been reconstructed in the
1890s.
so it's pretty old still, but not the original structures.
There's like five and a half.
Yeah, so people are probably kind of short because my wife's 5'2 1/4" and
Half.
5'2 1/2", and she's almost touching the top of the door. So
If I jump, I can hit my head.
So either people were short back then, or this is just how it was. For YouTube purposes, we're gonna say the pew pew room.
Pew, pew.
This is a bedroom right here. As you can see, the bed is very high, elegant.
Well, it depends on what you mean work. Some of these guns we could load powder and ball and shoot. I used, and a couple other Josephs used to fire this off with powder, showing people how it's loaded. You know, that's a French 1763 Charleville musket. And the reason why we have it here, that's the musket that the French used when they helped us in the Revolutionary War. The reason why we have it here is Sutter bought Fort Ross in 1841, and the Russians had about 40 of these muskets. And the Russians got them from Napoleon's troops when they dropped it, around 1812 when they invaded. So they gave all these muskets to their trading companies, and that's why Fort Ross had them. And that's why Sutter has them. So that's why we have the 1763. Although that's kind of an antiquated gun compared to everything else here, the Native American guards for the fort carried those. So that's why we have them. This one came out about there's a bunch of American and French, English. It's called a pepper mill, a pepper box. But you muzzle load it, and then you put caps here and fire it. There's 6 rounds. Mark Twain said the best place to be when this is fired is in front of it because you can't hit anything. But you got 6 tries. So, you know, the miners would have this in their camp as well. You'd want to steal somebody, you know. So that's why we have these, because basically the gold rush. Well, that's a powder tester. Powder in the field, you want to know how good it is. You're not sure, because sometimes the grades. So what you do is you put a little bit of powder in that barrel there, and you close that off, and then it fires up just like a flintlock. You could have something like this too, but we just happen to have this.
Oh, what the?
And so it fires the main charge, and it pushes this arm out. And depending how far the arm out, there's a gauge there with numbers and tells you how good the powder is.
Oh.
So this is a pretty simple British powder tester. If you ever went online and looked for powder testers, the French made some beautiful ornate ones. I mean, you know, but you know, British is pretty stark, basic, but it works, you know.
Yeah.
So that's a powder tester.
Very cool. Thank you.
Very cool.
You're welcome.
This is a cowboy
Imagine
room.
sleeping in that bed.
Yeah, that bed is pure bricks, literally. old. Yeah. So it's used to raise it. Like they raise it up and down with this. They had a swing there in case they got bored.
So welcome to the first permanent structure in this part of California. This is the original building, built in 1840, started in 1840, finished in 1841. The people who built this were basically Native Americans or some of the, from around this area, because there were about 35 little tribelets in this area, and some of the Hawaiians that Captain Sutter brought with him when he came to California. 70% of the wood, the mud in this building is original, and about 50% of the wood, especially over the windows and doors, are original. So this is Captain Sutter's office. This is very famous because when James Marshall found gold up in Coloma, he brought it 4 days after he found it. He brought it down here to test to make sure that it was gold. There are also rumors of gold were floating down from 40 miles away, where Coloma was down here. And as soon as the story got out, then people started leaving the fort to find having the gold jump into their pockets. Now that's the doctor's office.
Oh, okay.
There wasn't a doctor here at all times. If a doctor came through, or someone that thought they knew some doctoring came through, Sutter might pay them for a couple of days to do things for people. Now, they understood about contagion, but they didn't understand what caused the diseases. They talked about seeds of illness, and even back in Greece, they talked about seeds of illness. So they didn't know about germs until probably the 1860s, and then, of course, viruses they didn't find out until much later. And then they would do their doctoring with the things that they had.
Yeah.
And a lot of plant material, which is hanging up there, some of them all of those are medicinal, are plants that have medicinal quality.
Right now we're touching a piece of history. This is the beehive oven. Maybe they cook some pizzas in here. Who knows?
Okay. Okay, yeah, there we go.
Spinners. The next unit is Cowbell. Now, if you notice, I'm going to keep that tension on it. Put that in the middle. So see how do not let go. Keep that tension on it. Okay, now you can let go.
And what is this part called again?
Flying.
Flying.
P-L-Y. There you go. Cool.
And just tie the end in a regular knot.
Yeah, I just tied it in. Even it out a little bit. There you go. Very cool. Yeah.
Alright, we just got out of Sutter's Fort Historic State Park. Pretty cool. It's literally in the middle of like downtown. Walking around there right now just to see what's up. What do you think about this place?
I think this place is pretty cool. I had never been here, although I lived here pretty close by.
So this is the outside of it. It's kind of hidden because there's a bunch of trees everywhere, but it's a pretty nice spot.
Yeah, I think it's nice to look at and like learn a little bit about the history and stuff. Look at magnolia trees.
If you have kids, I'm sure they'll have a lot of fun. That duck's trying to impress the other duck. When I try to seduce my wife, I try to do tricks in bed also. So I can relate. For now, we'll walk around and then we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.